to the latest episode of Inside the Salesforce Ecosystem. In this podcast, we dive deep with the leaders, experts, and innovators shaping the future of Salesforce. I'm your host, Luke White, and in every episode, we explore unique journeys, challenges, and insights of those driving success in the ecosystem. So today, I'm delighted to be joined by Matthias Matzen, who is the founder and managing director at CRM Intelligence. So with over 20 years of experience in sales, CRM, and digitalization, he helps clients within various industries to optimize their sales process, implement CRM platform projects, and enhance customer success and user adoption. He combines his quick grasp of complex requirements with proven experience to deliver pragmatic solutions for his clients. So welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Yeah, hi, Luke. Thanks for having me.
So let's jump straight in. So let's just, I've done a little bit of an intro, but it's always good to hear from you directly. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about yourself, the journey you've had and where you are today with CRM Intelligence.
Yeah, so nothing to add. So no, it was just, no. So I found Sales Intelligence back in 2010 with the idea just to help customers to be successful with the CRM project. So I had experience with an own project run in a German enterprise company as a project manager first, and then being head of sales performance management. And coming from that point of view, combined with something I did in my private business, is like be a semi-professional sailor. I combined both things and thought about maybe that's a good idea to help customers taking tools and experiences from the sailing business with the experience from the business part, and be a kind of co-host or co-pilot in their projects and help them to, don't struggle with things, be first on their challenges and help them to be better in that project and make it at the end successful. So like a co-pilot or like be advisor.
And so interesting with the background from the sailing point of view. So where do you see some of the similarities? And you saw that sort of light bulb moment. Go, hang on a minute. This thing I love of the sailing and how I can put this into the corporate world. Where are those similarities?
Yeah, so when you're not familiar with sailing, so it's just I'm a part of a sailing crew. So we are 8 to 10 people on board, and we have different roles and different functions and different experiences. And so take it from that point of view, you have something who's the leader, so has the steering wheel in his hand. So he is the only one, or she, the only one who can say where to go. You have an advisor, like you have always in the business, like a business developer or something. You can tell us like a tactician, okay, where to go and what is the best approach, and take everything into account. And then you have the crew you need to adjust the sails or be weight on the house, so that you have the fastest way to your goal. And this you can compare this with the company. So you have different roles in the company with different experiences. And what it's all about is communication. So be always open and honest. And we sailed for 17 years right now, really, really, I would say successful in our case as a semi-professional team. And we do always a briefing before a race and a debriefing, always. And that's quite helpful also for business perspectives. Always be clear. What is the next step? And did we achieve that one? And why not? And what can we make better on the next step? So that's why I combine these things. And you can compare it with a project. So you have a team on both sides, on customer side and also implementation part. So
exactly, implementing CRM is definitely a team sport. It's not an individual sport for sure.
Absolutely.
So you talk about the sailing journey. So was that sailing and that sort of the journey you made, was that the inspiration to start Sales Intelligence back in 2010?
Yeah, that was the inspiration. There was a point where I thought, okay, I can now leave the enterprise company. That was after 10 years in sales. So I've learned a lot about sales development, account planning and such things. And I had the privilege to run the CRM project. So I learned Salesforce at that time to make a rollout of 600 users in Germany and leadership team. And I learned a lot about they have no clue about how to lead with real-time data, for example. So nobody was really familiar with using dashboards and reports. And so you need to communicate a lot of values, of maybe challenges they will be affected by and some things. And that then it came to that point, okay, but what my learnings from the sailing experience is like to communicate, to be open and be also flexible in thinking and challenges. So can we do it another way around? So let's try it. Don't talk. So really pragmatic and more in a style of hands-on instead of handout. Sorry. So it's like more really moving forward. And that was my inspiration,
exactly.
just to try to do the same. So I have no experience as the consultant running an own company in that time, but it starts quite well. And now it's for 15 years, so it's fine.
Yeah, so like 2010 doesn't seem that long ago, does it? But when you actually look at it, it's 15 years. Yeah, it feels like yesterday.
Look at my gray
2010,
hair,
but
so then you know.
wow, yeah, genetics has got mine as well. Mine's also yeah, so that's not an issue. So I think it worked with when we were speaking before. And we've met a few times at different events, etc. I think you're working with sort of like over 50 clients. What would you say are some of the sort of the most common CRM challenges that they face?
Some challenges, to be honest, is I step in as we say, co-pilot in projects and different stages. So sometimes it's quite early when we start capturing requirements and take a decision what kind of system. Sometimes it's they signed the licenses and now it's like, oh, up and running, and we have an internal team but no experience running a CRM project. So we want to have something to it like a co-host. Or sometimes it's like we are not happy with this year and maybe we want to change or something like this. And so the sorry. Sorry, I was just missed that point right now. So the challenges, now I've got it back. So the challenges of a CRM project is like a poor user adoption. So started too late to talk about adoption and the value of different, I would say, user groups. So think about different expectations they do have. Sometimes there's also the missing of really requirements. So it's like, yes, there are 3 systems. There are the like Salesforce, HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics, and we will take one of them. So it's a clear decision, it seems like. But then we start making requirement management. Sometimes it's like we have so many established workarounds we don't want to get rid of, and the processes are not harmonized. So it's like, sometimes they are not really existing processes, like workarounds, established workarounds. And in most of the cases, the project is not project ready when they start. So sign the license, then the pressure is on, like, now we purchased and we put money on the table. So when can we start? And then you say, okay, the requirements that we took for taking the decision are 6 months old. So it's like a restart. And what is about data quality? We never thought about data quality. So all these things. So be prepared is, I think they are not prepared in most of the cases.
Yeah, I think that's a common thing. Even years of doing previous roles, doing implementations, you get to the customer, they've been sold it, and you're doing the implementation, and they haven't really thought about what this looks like. They go, "We need a CRM system. We need these fields." I think customers sometimes are very good at going, "We need these fields." Okay, that's great, but how do we then put that into your process, or we need to change your process? So that's always a challenge. But I want to come back to one point, user adoption. So I think this user adoption in CRM, especially within sales team, is like a story as old as time. Like, how do we get salespeople to actually use CRM? So then we've got data in the back end management. We can actually use that data and leverage it. What would you say are some of those sort of hints or tricks or processes that you've put in place to try to get the adoption from the users where maybe there is some sort of anti-CRM sentiment?
So first of all, take them serious. So take the salespeople serious. And on the other hand, don't take everything into account what they say. So that's a bit, my background as a sales guy. It's easier, because if someone tells you, so I have no time for this one, I can say, okay, then you have the wrong priorities on what you're doing and so on. So obviously, it doesn't seem quite clear what is the benefit for salespeople when you have poor adoption or you have a wrong implementation. Like, it's so tricky, too many clicks, so it's not implemented in the best of breed. You can do it even better. So looking at the installation, so if I talk about before, I step in various points within the project. So sometimes it's like, okay, poor adoption, look at it, and then you say you can't use the system because you have still workarounds, still Excel spreadsheets, still not really clear processes within the environment. And sometimes it's lack of knowledge internally. Sometimes it's also because salespeople are really, I would say, heavy in discussion. So they can say, no, I don't want, so. But at the end, it's an overall goal that must be clear, like why a company needs such a system. And I think the financial crisis shows everybody. So you can have a click on your ERP, you can see what you've booked and what you've booked last year, but the view into the future is only, you only use the CRM system. So pipeline management is key. And I think that's one of the points here.
Yeah, for sure. And I've always argued when I've had these conversations with sort of salespeople adoption is like, how do you remember what's going on? Unless you're only working a couple of big deals a year, it's like I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday. Like, so how can you remember like the call you had 3 months ago with a prospect?
Absolutely.
You have to have it somewhere, and that's where the CRM comes into
Absolutely.
play. And I think that's key for sure. Right, so let's jump in a little bit about sort of obviously a Salesforce podcast. So let's talk about Salesforce a little bit. So what in your opinion makes Salesforce sort of stand out compared to some of the other platforms that you've worked with?
Yeah, because to me it's a really a 360 view platform. So it was the first one I worked with, the first one that had these I would say approach like being cloud first and have everything on one platform. And to be honest, so in most of the projects, when it's come more complex, you have coexisting systems, and integration is also another really important point. And Salesforce at that point is really good to be integrated in other systems. So I have no project in all my years that is Salesforce only. It's always in a coexisting landscape on a customer's end. So you need to be really good and integrate the systems, but be the platform of truth. And that's also with this 360 combined. Salesforce is I would say, the absolutely leading platform in the market. So some of them is growing also really fast, but Salesforce is amazing in that one. I'm an absolutely evangelist of this one, working so many years with Salesforce.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned it from Sales Cloud on, so every cloud and now it's
every
a catalog.
Cloud, all of them. Yeah, all of them indeed. So interesting. So obviously Salesforce and obviously AI and Agentforce is a big push within the Salesforce ecosystem, and we've all heard it a lot, shall we say? So what's been your interpretation of it, and how are you getting customers sort of asking questions about it now as it's become sort of a bit more out there in the ecosystem?
Yeah, so questions comes up. So I would say on a weekly basis. So how can we use that one? We are ready to use it? What are the requirements of using this one? And what kind of use cases do we have? And yes, so in my point of view, it makes sense for work that is done by humans that is more like not needed by humans. So these typical things like working in a customer care center or something, where you have clear questions and clear answers, but it took time just to find the right answer. Or the other hand is a good use case where you have a lot of documentation that's always changing, but you need to be aware of. For example, in a medical area, for example, we have clear rules. So where an artificial intelligence, an agent can learn all the documents, and you have a clear question and get a really fast answer in this one. So I think it's really interesting to observe the development now of Agentforce, really fast development. And I think we will see over the next 6 to 12 months, it will develop much more faster. And there will be much more use cases. And also, to be honest, Salesforce will learn, Salesforce and the customers and also implementation partners will learn. So we are all on the learning path right now. So I think that's the case.
Yeah, it's an interesting point in time where like AI and where we are with it is sort of we're all at the same level almost. Yeah. Like there's not like we've not missed out 10 years worth of it, or like if you suddenly get involved into Bitcoin now, maybe you're a bit late for it. But it feels like you're on that precipice now where jump on now, otherwise, you are going to feel like you've missed out. So I think that's an interesting look at things as well.
Absolutely. And I don't think that agents will replace salespeople at the end. So it's a nice idea of 24/7 salespeople, and then for some businesses, maybe that could be the case. But in the typical solution selling, it's a good also a kind of co-agent. So it helps people give quick answers. You can get answers outside of business times, but at the end, it's people business. And maybe one day an agent to agent business, but Currently, it's a people business, so and they will not run projects. So for us, I think it's fine.
Yeah, and also I think that especially in, I can see like case deflection is an obvious one where agents can help for sure. But also I think when it comes to B2B, people just still buy from people. That's the end of the day. That's what's key. So it's can Agentforce or AI, can it help me as a salesperson generate a quote quicker or summarize a meeting notes quicker and get the tasks outlined? Absolutely. That's just efficiencies. And and if AI can help some salespeople make better meeting notes, I think that's a good thing, because sometimes meeting notes entered into CRM are not always great by salespeople. I won't tar them all with the same brush, but some have issues and some don't. So I think that's obviously a key where it can actually help you. So it's not being scared of it. I think it's embracing it and taking it with you as you go along as part of the your day-to-day world, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so. So in the past, it was like giving salespeople advice by putting based on filter criteria, list views, what they can work on. So, and the agent is now, don't think about list views, take the result of the action that took in the background. So here it is. Now you can get in direct contact. Everything's also clear. So in this, I think in the business development area, there will be a lot of use cases. So the BDRs, so
yeah, absolutely. So actually, it leads me on to my next question. Actually, obviously, the trends that you see companies using CRMs, CRM to improve sales. I guess AI is a big trend that's happening. But are you seeing anything else? Any other trends out there?
So is it a trend to be more on an organizational structure? I'm not sure, but if I look on a trend, maybe they get more on scoring of opportunities. So that's a point over the last month. It's more like coming from existing customers and our own customers. So how can we make a reliable scoring of be more focused on the right opportunities, on the right business. So I don't want to call it a trend, because if you're doing a regular review meeting, the scoring is maybe one of the KPIs that you can look at it. There are some others, but I would say you can feel that the people are less people, but they need to be more focused on what they're doing. So it's also related to AI. You mentioned before, so AI can help, but at the end, there's people they need to negotiate with other peoples, and they need to get the empathy to say, okay, how far we are, so what is the maturity of that deal, and so on. So scoring is just measurement, but at the end, there's people, they take the decision. So I would call it not a trend, but it's that's a typical topic that came up over the last months. I
don't know if you've seen it as well. I think over the last sort of few years, I've definitely seen a lot more decisions being made on data, not just on gut feel. There was always that feel of like, the salesperson, hey, how's this deal looking? How's it going to close? I think it might be all right. I'm not sure, that gut feel, but I feel like companies now are using the data more because there's more data available, etc. CRM systems have improved. They can analyze. So if even forgetting AI, CRM systems have been able to report and analyze data a lot more. So I think gut feel still has an important part of the sales process for sure. But I see that has been a bigger trend over the last few years, is that like using data to make decisions, which is vital.
Yeah. So that's what I mean with these opportunity scoring. So it's just to support your decisions, but at the end, someone needs to take the decision and say, okay, do I believe it? Yes or not? It's reliable, yes or not? So, but it's absolutely supporting these process. Yeah, that's right.
For sure. Yeah. So one thing that I feel Salesforce does very well is the community in and around Salesforce. I think it's quite a positive and encouraging space to be in. 9 times out of 10, nothing's ever perfect. So what's your opinion on sort of the Salesforce ecosystem, being involved in it for so long, and what changes have you seen during that period as well?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. It's a long time. So, but I think one of the coolest thing is, and that leads also to PDF, but it's the ecosystem. So ecosystem is the app exchange that started quite early, and you are always also as an implementation supporter, implementation partner, whatever. It's like always like build or buy solutions. So be really looking for a nice solution and see, wow, everything is there. You can use that one. It's up and running. You don't need to spend money on implementation things, and it's always supported. So I think the App Exchange is a quite nice thing. On the other hand, it's always like innovation. So I like this thing, like first it was Einstein and it was Agent. So they are always really innovative and the driver. So they take, I think, a bit like taking the future in the to us, bring it to us and say, okay, this is the next step. Sometimes it feels a bit early, but then you say, that's why they did it. So now I understand, now fully on it. So and this is something. On the other side is like they have a really, really huge industry knowledge about their solutions. And I think that's also really, really, really plus of Salesforce over the last, now it's also 20 years, huh? So it's, so it's nearly the same time I worked with them.
Indeed, you've been there almost from the beginning, You mentioned the App Exchange, which actually leads me nicely onto the next question. Obviously, this is not a PDF Butler podcast necessarily, but I guess talk to us a little bit about how PDF Butler helps support the work you do with your customers and clients.
Yeah, so it's a really, really great solution. So, and it's the same. I looked for a customer project. I was back in 2019. I looked for a solution. So it was not at the beginning of PDF Butler, but quite in the early years.
Yep.
And I did a research and combined these available solutions, and we took PDF Butler at that point because it was really flexible at that time. But now it's really, really flexible, and I like to work with it because it's you can use this in different use cases. So that's really nice. Until today, and we work with several customers with PDF Butler, Sign Butler, and Form Butler. So it's like I got no requirement from customers' end that we are not able to fulfill. And this is and we like to have it on multi languages and multi countries. So that's a really, really nice thing. And if there are some questions from our end, that's also I want to mention. The Academy is great. And on the other hand, also the support team is really, really great and on hand. So it's always nice to work with the team, but also really with the solution. And customers love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, support is a big thing for us. We hear lots of stories, and when you're only using a software and something goes wrong or there's not sure, and that's the most frustrating thing in the world if you don't get an answer back. No one's expecting an answer back like in a minute, but within an hour or so, it's always nice to know that someone's looking at the case and trying to work through and build it through. So yeah, that's good. It's something that we're keen to keep up in our work as well, to keep that moving for sure.
Look forward what's coming next. So
there's a lot coming. AI is evolving beast, so there'll be plenty more to that to come. With some of the AI stuff that we're working on in the background. It's all secret. It's all sort of Project Manhattan stuff, but it's there. It's working, and we've got some exciting things to come down the line as well, which obviously we will launch out to our partners like yourselves as soon as we're ready to go with it. So it's exciting. So there's some stuff to come for sure. It's a little teaser, a little tease maybe to the future. So then, sort of last couple of questions really. So what advice would you give to a company who's just starting their CRM journey? I think we touched upon it a little bit at the beginning, but I think, as a sort of summary of what you would like a company to do if they were starting their CRM journey.
First of all, get in contact with me. No, that was... I need to say that as a good sales guy. Yes. So, but no, obviously take your time. Don't hurry. So it means like take a moment and just try to build a kind of master plan to say, okay, what we want to achieve, where we come from, what is the overall goal? Is it part of a story? Like I recognized in projects that companies start CRM project, sometimes in parallel with the ERP project, sometimes with other projects like introducing teams, for example, for communication and such things. And it's missed by what is the overall goal. So it's for the people in the company, it's just one piece, another piece, another piece. But what is the story overall to say we are in the transformation towards something else? And this is piece, and then you have the big puzzle in total. So start early, and take your users really serious. So if they say, I don't want to do it, okay, don't take it too serious because it's a must-have. But companies want to get transparency. So that's why typically they start CRM projects because to want to be transparent in what they're doing. And so don't burn months and money in long decision process, but take time for getting your requirements and spend some time with your team and be clear who should run that project, and don't run into that project, and be project ready. So once you sign the licenses, be ready, have your team up and running, and take some people like me or others. There are some others outside, I know, also great people, and to get some support on your project and make it successful.
Yeah, I think the requirement piece is vital. People jump into, I think as we touched on, they just jump into, we need a CRM, right? It has to have a CRM. Okay.
And inspire us. Show us what the CRM can do. So yes.
I think that's right. I think sometimes people don't know what they don't know. And as a consultant, and even us from a product side, we have to sort of educate our prospects and customers to go, hey, we can do this if we shift this or we change that. So I think that's important for sure. Yeah. Finally, then, so last question for you. We've talked. I think I know the answer to this question, as we touched upon it a little bit. But I guess maybe sailing obviously is a big part of your life outside of work. Yeah, exactly. I live on the south coast of the UK, so I'm familiar. I'm not very far away from Weymouth, which hosted the 2012 sailing events in the Olympics back then. So I'm familiar with the sea. I've never sailed, to be fair, but
so feel invited.
Yes, thank you. Definitely. I guess sailing takes up an awful lot of your time outside of work. But is there anything else that sort of you do outside of work as well?
Yeah, so it's not only race sailing; it's also with the family cruising, but it's also music. So I like to play music, and I like to enjoy music and concerts. So and combine this with traveling. It's always nice to travel to different venues, countries. So see a lot of different music. So it's also a kind of inspiration just to see creative people and hear what they're doing. So I think the process that we're doing is really, really creative. Being creative, challenges, and being so a kind of source of inspiration. So that's maybe also that's why I love music. So
yeah, indeed. I couldn't imagine the world without music. It would it's not one I want to live in. I don't think at that point. There's always some music going on somewhere for sure. So
and you definitely can combine it. You can travel to Germany and come go sailing with me. So you're invited.
So
again,
I'm invited next time. I'm sure I'll be in Germany relatively soon with some sort of Salesforce event at some point. So we should definitely speak. It'll be good. I'll be good to get on the sea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, Luke. Just want to mention at the end, that's my announcement is like we talk about sales intelligence.
Yes.
Now it becomes turned after 15 years and something new and something better. Even I think it's now CRM Intelligence. And looking forward. So it was really nice to talk to you.
No, and it's great to have this conversation. We've met a few times at different events, so it's always great to get to know you a little bit better. Those 5-minute conversations are always great, but never get enough to know everyone. So it's really great. The sailing stuff's super interesting as well. So it's a great parallel that sailing, and you can combine, I think, something you love and it's more than a hobby for you, but that and work, I think it's the perfect combination.
Absolutely.
It's a great combination. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Luke. We see you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.